What's up, everyone? Another episode of Yin and Yancy. We're just going to share some more perspectives and conversations, and hopefully this resonates with some of you and just gives you different perspectives, right? So,
big time.
I'll leave it up to you today. What we were kind of talking about this earlier, but what was on your mind? What was the question?
Yeah, I would say, one thing I always enjoy is every time we're in the gym, like we always have bro talks of life and everything, and that was the biggest thing for me. Was the other day I got to attend a funeral, and I was standing in line, and I just had this baby, and usually I don't really care for funerals, but I just had this newborn infant, and like I just have such an appreciation of life. So now I see like family passing and all that, and I'm just like in that moment in the stage of my life where I see life being coming and I see life going, and I just really appreciate all the people I've been around. So I was like standing, my uncle passed away, and I was standing in line to go pay my homage and my respects at the funeral, and I just like sit back and I see all these elderly people, and I was like, I just see all their like, it wasn't to judge, but I'm like one of the tallest guys there, and I just see everyone sitting down like this, everyone standing up like this, and they all like, and I was like, oh wow, is that like, they really got to me, and I just started looking at, maybe it's just this line, and then I looked to my right, and everybody's sitting down, all the elderly people, they're all kind of hunched over, and just, I was like, oh wow, like, that's just really got to me. I was like, oh, is that just like how it happens, And then I walk into the front of the line, and I see Uncle Roy and Auntie Kathy Sakumo, and that's the ukulele players, and their shoulders are up, peppy, walky. And fortunately, they're my neighbors, and I didn't even know they were going to be there. And I see those couple I see them walk every day. I've lived where I live for almost a decade now, and they're together just walking. Nothing. It's marvelous because it's nothing exciting. It's just simple and consistent. Yeah. And they don't look anything like all the other people. And they're way older. Their posture, just everything. Yeah. And then you came up with.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's interesting, right? Like to just observe, because like as we age, everything's gonna kind of collapse with gravity, right? Like that's just what happens. Our muscles get weaker, less strength, right? Our posture starts to go down. We start to just kind of
do this right here, what I'm doing. I'm already starting. Like,
we just let gravity take over, right? Yes. So like the interesting thing about that is like it doesn't have to be that point where like we can't stand up tall, right, and all of that. And if you think about it, because gravity is always acting on us, whether we're 15 years old or whether we're 50 or 80 years old, right?
Yes. Yeah.
But that activity level, like how you said, that people that walk, they're using these muscles, they're keeping it in condition, they're keeping them strong, right? The muscles to keep us upright.
Yes.
If I put any load on like us, a 20-year-old, a professional athlete, if I put enough load on you, you are going to have that same collapsing, rounded shoulders. So you're going to start to,
a dumbbell, a kettlebell, or a bar,
right? With anything, right? Yeah, when you're squatting, when you're doing carries, if I put enough load on you, gravity's going to take over, and you're going to start to get into that not optimal posture, right? Yeah. So there's a threshold for everyone, right? Because if I load you enough, you're going to start to collapse. Yeah. As we get older and we don't train, right, that threshold starts to lower and lower and lower, so that less weight is needed to make us collapse, right? Until if we never use these muscles, it gets to a point where like when we cannot even hold our body up against gravity, that's where the threshold's set. So then our just weight of our body, our limbs, gravity's pulling on us, we're not strong enough to keep that proper posture during the day, right? Yeah. So we don't want to get to that point. So a lot of it is like, being active, even if that's just going to walk, right? You're using these muscles. You're using the muscles to teach your body, like, I want to be in this posture. I want to be strong, but I also want to be in condition to do it throughout the day and stuff, right? And when we don't do that, I think you see it not only at that funeral, right? But you walk outside, just look at the posture of people because they never train it.
And that being said, like I don't ever get to see that because I never get to go to environments where I just see all people of that, all these elderly people, right? And I'm just like, oh dang, and I see that, and I think about my parents, and like, all these things where it's like, oh, it's if this is the future, what can I do consciously to just do the little things to help me get better, to help my mom, my dad, and this is nothing to judge. This is just, this is what happens.
Yep.
This is what happens.
Yeah.
You know, I'm in this line.
Yep.
And we're all gonna walk to right where to the end of that. That's the inevitability of it. But what are we doing to, you know, like
to stay
10
healthy.
years ago I wasn't looking at the line like that. You know what I mean? I was just like, oh, uncle's passing, you know, whoever is passing. Like, no, I'm at that age. I have a different pair of glasses on.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
We're both at that age. Right,
like,
that's what it is.
And you know, and that's we could go into a whole different categories and whatnot. But I think that's one of the biggest things that, you know, gravity. But it's I think the beauty of it is the consistency you put in whatever you're doing. Right? Like, hey, where do you feel if it's like I see Uncle Roy and Auntie Kathy walk every day to this day together? Like, that consistency is so beautiful. Like, you know, to see that, and they're happy. They ain't over here, they need to run a marathon to have external validation towards anything, right? They know what they're doing to keep themselves happy. And I think that's the biggest part of it, right? Like, knowing what the consistency. So, because gravity is gonna get a hold of us eventually. Right? Like,
that's so true. And you know, the last thing that I'll leave it off it's like, all of these things, the consistency, and also just doing it to keep your body functioning, right? Because when we don't take care of our body, all of these things are gonna happen. And I think the worst part is that if it's happening, but you don't realize it, because some of this is really basic. I think everyone should be exposed to, like, you know what? If we spent whatever that is, 5-10 minutes, maybe it's walking for half an hour in a good posture, sometimes that's all we need for consistency to just have better health. Like, that's simple, that's small. It seems so small, but
minuscule,
you know,
but it's like it adds up. It does.
Yeah.
And at our age, we don't know that because we're always thinking we got to do these big dramatic things to get to what we need to do. But I never got to where I got to from taking leaps. You know what I mean? It was all consistency. And, you know, it led to what it is. And now I see that because, like I said, we have a different pair of eyes.
Step by step. No, this is good. We can talk about this for so much longer, but hopefully that gives you some perspective too. But it's just these small things, they add up. And when we're looking like decades down the line, it's gonna make or break posture, our results, our health, or
how is gravity gonna take a hold of you, and how is it gonna weigh on you? Right? Like, are you gonna need a cane? Are you gonna need a wheelchair? Whatever it is, that's your story, that's your reality. But that's what I see. That I gotta keep moving because gravity will take its place.
It will take its toll.
And that's life. And there's nothing to judge upon. That's just what it is. And it's like, how much do I want to move until my time comes?
Exactly. So everyone, be consistent.
Please
stay strong, right? Stay healthy, happy, do all the things that you love, and that's really what it's about. But until next time, we'll have another conversation.
Yin and Yancy out.
Exactly. Have a great one.